Hello, welcome to Art Talk Friday. It's been a couple weeks, but today I'd like to share um, some techniques called Etegami. You may have heard of it. So, Etegami is a great way to incorporate daily sketching or become more mindful with your painting. So, um, Etegami is taking cute small objects and drawing them slowly and then painting them. So you can use, there's special postcards that can be used, and they are called gush gasenshis. I just have in front of me the Strathmore watercolor postcards, and today I just divided my watercolor paper into quarters to use. So this is just a cute little drawing I did of my watercolor jar. So the products that I'm going to be using are these Gansi Kurataki's paints. They're Japanese and they're quite portable, which is really nice. They have little pans that all I need to do is spray lightly to activate the paint. And of course, you can use watercolors with it. And the outline can be used with sumi ink. So I've brought out a stone because it's great for breath brush and meditation class. So I spray my stone, see if you can see it on the white paper, with a little bit of water, and I take my stick of ink, and as I'm breathing in and out, I can start loosening up the ink on the tray. So it depends if you want to do that. The easier way is to get some sumi ink and have a container. Let me just grab it. This one I like because I can brush. I can brush my edge of my brush on top of the edge of the container. I'm just gonna try and lift up some of that ink before it gets started. There we go. I'm just going to pour some liquid ink into this container. And I have two brushes beside me. I have a watercolor brush that has a great point, and I have a sumi brush for the outlines. So I'm going to wet both brushes, and I have to decide obviously which object I'm going to paint. And I brought in a little tower garden growing outside, and I didn't realize it, but a little flower came off of it. And it's an enclosed balcony. Oh, it's so delicate. So here it's my beautiful little flower. So maybe we'll save that one for later. Let's use something big. So I have a typical apple. Most of us have an apple, and I have to decide if I'm going to be uh, painting sideways or horizontal. So I think I'll go horizontal. And I'm going to start with the top left corner because I'm a righty and probably don't want to smudge it. So I basically want to turn the apple in a way. I'm just going to lean it a little bit on the side. You can't really see it, but I'm going to lean it on the side there. Oops, got the wrong screen on. just doesn't want to stay. And then this gives me the opportunity to do a contour modified drawing. And that's a slow drawing that I often teach in drawing classes. So I'm going to take my sumi brush, wet it first, and of course, hold it properly. And I'm going to load my brush about 3/4 of the way in the ink. And then I always talk about reshaping the brush. These are combination brushes, so they don't go back to a point. So I need to make sure it starts with a point. And then I'm going to hold it in my hand and kind of look at the outside of the apple. And if you can not hold it, it's probably better to look at it, but it's just the apple is a little lopsided. So I'm going to kind of tilt it a little bit. And then I'm going to pick a starting point and very slowly, and I could even press down because usually the Etegami is a thicker line. And then I'm just going to very slowly draw the apple. So what it does is it really will, I'm going to leave a little space for the stem to come up. But if you crossed over the line, no worries. This is just a fun drawing, and I really like this line here. If I wanted to add maybe some detail, I could. And my dots aren't working real well. They look like slashes, but whatever you see. And what this does is it helps you become observant and look at what you're actually painting. And I'd suggest doing this, every day for 5 minutes, whether it's your bagel or a cup of coffee. I've talked about this before in other videos. So that's probably pretty wet. The ink is probably pretty wet right now. So it just takes a minute to dry. And I'm just going to feel it because I'm not sure I want that color in there. And then I should have fun with the colors. So in my apple, I see some yellow, I see some reds, I see some oranges. Your apple may have different colors. So I always start with the lightest color, which would be yellow. And if you want, you can wet your postcard or paper. So I'm just gonna try not to go into the ink yet. It appears to be dry. Just needs a little bit more water. And it's okay if I leave a little bit of the white on this drawing. And then I'm going to add a little bit of some orange, because I do see some orange. And you'll be observing, what you see. We don't really have to concern ourselves too much with a light source either on this. And it's just kind of blending in there. And the last thing you would do would be to label. I still think it needs some red. Let me try. It's just really wet. I like that bright red on there. And this is wet on wet, really. So you're learning a little bit about painting and dropping in the paint. And I'll go back to my Sumi um, brush and re-ink it and reshape it. And then I'm just going to write, there's usually like words that go with this. So I'm not a calligrapher, but I'm just going to put some simple letter on the side. Just apple. And then maybe here, because it feels very unbalanced. Just going to put a cute little thing, and then I could cut it and send it off to a friend. A little cute Etegami card. So let's try that cute little flower now. So I'm just going to put it aside here. It actually was much brighter when I found it this morning, so it's clearly very delicate. So all I need to really notice is that it's 5 petals and they come to a point, and then the center is a little bit different. So I probably want to pick out where my center is. So I'm going to go back to my Sumi brush and ink and reshape it. And I don't have a magnifying glass, but I'm going to just draw the center. And that's pretty much the center of it. And, just take your time kind of looking at what you're seeing. And what's important is that you start seeing the shapes. And I think I'm going to blacken this part out because I can't really see it that well. So that's my little flower, but it does have some linear lines. So I'm just going to add those. This kind of has more of a ruffle, which I miss, so I'm just going to put that in there. Okay, that's my ink. And then it's pretty much yellow and green. It's starting to change. So I'm just going to use my bright yellow. First, of course, check it to see it's still a little damp, especially in the thicker areas. And just lightly paint. I do like the white showing through on these nice paintings. Just got some ink, so I'm going to clean my brush. Got that. I'm going to add a warmer yellow here. Oops, too much paint. add some to the edge just to make it look a little bit dimensional here. I see some green in it. What I like is it's, I love Asian colors, obviously, because I teach Asian painting. This ink. So I'm just blotting it up because it seems like it's just blending out too much. And what can we call it? Obviously, flower. I can't think of a word besides flower. Let's just call it beauty. You can also write, words to empower you for the day, something you want to think about. And I'm just going to add something else in the corner. Just another small one. It's about that balance. And what else do I have that I could draw? I have a banana. We could do a banana. So just take whatever you have laying around. I talked about the watercolor jar. Maybe you have a cup of coffee. I do have my coffee here. I could do that. It has the Hokusai wave on it. So I'm going to look at that and move this up. I also want to talk about, I think I mentioned these in a previous video. They are Japanese color ink, but they are tinted. So the Etegami generally is painted with more a bluish black ink. And I do have one here, so let's try that. I think it'll be great for the cup anyway. So I'm going to wet my brush, and I need to activate the ink. So these are cute little ink too. So if you like color, this is a nice option for you as well. Now, as far as the blue black, if you have Payne's gray paint, watercolor paint, that would be a nice effect as well. So I'm looking down into my cup, and I'm going to just draw out, I see, which is a nice oval. And then the cup is, basically a cylinder. And I'll notice that the bottom is curved too. So obviously these aren't my best proportional images, but this is just to kind of relax and become more mindful about the day. So it just makes me observe, like, even this handle of the cup. And I don't see all of it at once. So that part I'm paying attention to right now. And it has this beautiful edge. And I'm just going to, I guess I went back over, but I did like the blue. So now I just have a mixture of it. And then I see inside. I'm going to take that off because I really did like the blue black ink. Just mixed it kind of in there. then I'm going to add some paint. So there's really like, it's got the wave, which is one of the most famous Japanese images. Most people are pretty familiar with that. Get a little bit more detailed than I would ask you to be, but it's just kind of the impression of. There are some, let's see, some. Let me switch back to my watercolor brush because I forgot. I have too much ink in there. Just checking out these colors. I'm just gonna drop them in, which is wet on wet painting. Sometimes we hear these terms, but we're not really familiar with them. And there is a little bit of a tinge of color here. And let's see, I think the brown's too dark. This cup has no. Let's add some water to it. Oh, no problem. Just careful if you know. I don't want the colors to mix. So that was a lot of paint there. I'm just going to drag it in. And I'm just going to lift up a little so that the coffee inside my cup looks a little textured. So I'm going to go back and that's just me, the artist in me, fixing this edge a little bit more rounded. Now it kind of ruined it. It looks like a Roku pottery piece. Okay, I'll stop there so you can see that. And the last thing I have is, I guess, the banana. Oh, let's write something down on it. So I'm just gonna write. You can just write coffee, I guess. Maybe. I can't remember to spell coffee as two F's. Coffee. I'm gonna leave it. I think it's two E's, but I forget. But you can just, write whatever. I'm completely blank. All right, and the last thing is a cute little banana. Here's my banana. Move this down and move this over so hopefully you can see it. Grab some of that bluish black ink. And very slowly, I've got to be able to allow the space. So I think I'm going to actually draw it more on the diagonal. So just crawl along like you are a turtle. to be this, dimension of the banana. And again, it's a yellow banana, but it has some warm tones in it. So when we study watercolors, one of the things I share, that it's wet, is I share how do you know about warm and cool colors, and how do you use those colors. So I work mostly with the 6-color palette, and we have 2 sets of primaries. So it has two yellows, one warm, one cold. Just blotting it to make sure it's not super wet. And I'm gonna drop in. See, it was still kind of wet there. Okay. I like a really ripe banana. And black and yellow sometimes make a green of its own. I'm going to take a warmer tone and kind of drop that in. Seems like there's more of a little shadow down there. And then at the top, there's a little green. That's just going muddy, but let's just have fun with this. That's the beauty of this. And if you've never painted watercolor, just start with a few things that you're familiar with. Little things around the house. Just paint something every day, and you will start to observe more and more fun and not. And these are cute little cards that you could mail to anybody that you know. I still love to get mail every day. I think it's wonderful. So practice, practice, practice. I could see I want to have the inclination to deepen my wave. I'm just going to pop in some more color. And it's nowhere where it's exacting. To do that, I probably would have traced it. Maybe it will show up a little bit better by adding that. So have a wonderful week. Please send me some questions or things that you're interested in so we can share them on our talk. Please like and follow me, and share it with others that I'm on YouTube if they're not on Facebook. Have a great week. Thank you.